understanding how to kind of tap into the inner visionary part of you and unleash it will help you be 30 times more creative in your business and also help you fill in the gaps of the things that you're not good at.
You're listening to Thrive by Design, business, marketing, and lifestyle strategies for your jewelry brand to flourish and thrive. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 117. Today, I have a guest. By the way, it's Tracy Matthews here, the Chief Visionary Officer over at Flourish Thrive Academy. And today, I have a guest on the show. It's my co-founder, Robin Kramer.
Hey, everyone. So psyched to be here.
Well, I love it when Robin and I can be in the same city. And Robin decided to stay in New York for an entire week after our event. And believe it or not, this is the first time I've seen her. You don't know what day it is, but it's a Friday. And I last saw her on a Sunday. So she's been here all week networking. And I begged and pleaded with her to get together so we could record a couple of podcast episodes and bring these to you. Because the energy's always better when we're in person, right?
So much more fun.
So much more fun. So we just, I purposely did not record very many podcast episodes in advance because I wanted to fit one in the slot of recap for our Flourish and Thrive live event, which happened here in New York last week. This is our third annual Flourish and Thrive Live. It's only the second one that we ever sold tickets to. So it was an exciting event for us. It was hosted at the Yotel Hotel in the heart of Hell's Kitchen / Times Square. So it was a fun experience for all the designers who made it to New York. And, you know, I'm just so grateful for how many people made it because it was really coming up on the heels, I should say, of the hurricanes that we've had, Maria and Irma and Harvey, all within the last couple of weeks. And it's been kind of nuts, I know, for designers in our community and also many of you out there listening to the podcast. So big love and safety being sent out to you if you're recovering in the aftermath of those hurricanes. We're going to be doing some more fundraising efforts. We've already done a few here at Flourish and Thrive to try and support all of you in our community who are struggling or are in need. So, Robin, what did you say today we talk about some takeaways and highlights from the live event?
I think that would be a fantastic idea because I am still on a high from the live event. It was our best event ever.
So great.
And it was beyond. It was so exciting.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the origin, about why we decided to start live events anyway? We, it's kind of started because we have this mastermind program that we've been launching every year. We were in the 5th iteration of it, I think, this year. 5th,
yeah.
Is that right?
5th?
4th, 5th?
I think so. Gosh, I think it's the 5th.
It's hard to know. We've been doing it for a while. Anyway, a couple years back, we really wanted to get the designers together in person. And when we first started, it was designed more like a group coaching program. And we started to evolve it kind of like to this hybrid group coaching / mastermind event. And we were going to get all the designers together in New York City, but we wanted to do a day event for our mastermind designers so that they can, connect with some industry influencers, learn a little bit more about pitching PR or whatever it might be. So we hosted our first one-day event. We didn't sell tickets to it. Do you remember that, Robin?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was in that fun little space down in Soho.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't even think I had a venue until like 2 weeks before. I don't even know if we knew where we were going to have it.
We were, winging a prayer.
Yeah, we were winging it. But we got some really great feedback from the designers who actually came, who were in our mastermind and who were special invited guests. And they were also got tickets because they got a B-School bonus from me for participating in that program. So it was fun because it was like a great opportunity to get all these people in one place and to also kind of, connect in person. And I remember we ended up that weekend, that day, we went to karaoke late at night, went to dinner with the masterminds and karaoke. I remember I couldn't believe I was still singing. And I thought every year after that, we'd always have a karaoke rap party. But I learned quickly after having a 3-day event and then a 4-day event that talking for that many days straight kind of burns out your voice. No karaoke for me.
But, Tracy, one of the biggest reasons we did that is the power of connection.
Yeah. So Robin and I are big on getting people together in person because we know from our own personal experience that when you go to conferences, that when you go to networking events, that when you can connect with your peers and when you can connect with mentors, massive shifts happen and which propel you into action to help you get to the next step or phase in your business. And so that's why, even though, live events are a lot of work to put on, they are, like, quite honestly, they are not very profitable, but we want to continue doing it because we know how powerful getting people together really is. Even though, like, the month before, every single time I'm like, why am I doing this again? What's the point of this? But then the event happens and I'm like, oh my God, this is the reason. I'm standing there on stage, speaking to people and just, feeling that energy kind of coming back and seeing how all of you in our community respond to that, right?
It's transformative.
It really is. So this year, when we set out to create a live event, I wanted to make sure that we were super focused on having a specific theme. So Robin, you want to talk a little bit about the theme of the event this year?
The theme this year was momentum, and it could not be a more appropriate theme for a business. And every aspect of your business to grow, it needs to have momentum. You need to build on that. So it was so appropriate, and especially going into the holiday season.
So appropriate. And when we originally created our Ramp Up Your Holiday Sales course many years ago, couple of the trainings or the themes for the months were momentum mindset, and then also riding the wave of momentum and, like, building upon it. So we wanted to kind of approach it from a momentum perspective. So all the talks were all about building momentum, in particularly, in your jewelry business, but a lot about building momentum in your jewelry business, specifically online, because I feel like that's the focus that a lot of people are, I think a lot of people in our community want to, in addition to their wholesale business, in addition to the trunk shows that they do or the live events that they do where they're selling direct to consumer, they'd really like to build out. I mean, at least this is what we've been hearing, and you can raise your hand and tell us if this is the truth for you, that you'd like to be selling more online so that you can have, like, a little bit more flexibility in your life and you're not always, like, cranking out every weekend at a live event. So, and I know a lot of you support your entire families on that. So we really wanted to create an event where you could learn a little bit more and discover a little bit more maybe about what you're doing that's right for your digital marketing strategy, but then also see what your gaps are, because we all have a lot of gaps and it's hard to see it without someone pointing out at it. So very skillfully, I created an exercise to help you discover what is missing in your online and digital marketing strategy. And you might have heard over the past couple weeks me talking about our Momentum Marketing Scorecard. If you have not downloaded it yet, I would highly recommend that you either pop on over to the show notes here over at episode 117, or that you go straight to the source and head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/marketing scorecard. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/marketing scorecard, and download the Momentum Marketing Scorecard. We're giving it to you for free for a limited period of time, probably within the next month or so, maybe longer. I'm thinking about pulling it, and you'll have to get on a wait list until we release it again. You can always sign up for the wait list if you're listening to this later, but this scorecard, I was told at the event that it was, like, worth the price of admission, and I'm giving it to you guys for free. So make sure that you check it out, but it's not going to be available forever. So, that was a lot. Robin and I also made another big announcement at the event. We've had this mastermind program for a long time, and after a lot of consideration, we've decided to put the mastermind on the back burner and transition to a different type of program. Robin's going to be transitioning a little bit more to focusing on supporting designers with their wholesale businesses. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. One of the things that I love to do is work with buyers and work in the wholesale world and really focus on sales in person. And I want to really help people focus on that. And I'm working on a plan for that to really just be hyper-focused on that. And I do know that the digital marketing piece is important, not my area of expertise. And I want to make sure that I am just giving you all of what I know best.
Exactly. Well, I think it's good too. You said to me once, like, I'm really not interested in learning more about digital marketing.
I find it fascinating and I find it necessary, but I don't want to be on my computer all day.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Doing research. Well, quite the opposite. I'm, like, fascinated with it because this is what I study, like, on a daily basis, and probably how you found out about Flourish and Thrive Academy maybe in the beginning was because I've been really focused on learning how to reach my audience online, the audience for Flourish and Thrive, my audience for Tracy Matthews Jewelry or tracymatthews.com. And when I started over, my website, online presence, all of that has been completely designed in order to attract customers and get people to take the next step or the next action in their business. Because, at the end of the day, what I want to be doing is building my business based on referrals and building my business on strategic strategies that I'm using to create more opportunities for people to find me online. In fact, I shared this story at the live event, and maybe I'll spill the beans right now, about a customer that I'm working with currently. I'm designing 2 pieces of jewelry for a friend of his, and he's buying this as a 40th birthday gift for her. He originally came to me with a budget of about $5,000, and I was able to upsell him to a budget of about $12,000. So I increased the budget by 2.5 times, which I think is pretty crazy. And it wasn't about being salesy or cheesy or pushy. It was just about giving him information based on what he wanted. And he was more than willing to up the budget and move on to the next step. And when we sort of walked through this discovery process of me and him deciding if we're a right fit for each other, one of the things that I noticed on my custom jewelry inquiry form was that he really liked the video, and that's what got him to fill out the form that's on my site. So we're going to share with you some of the strategies that designers are using now, some of the biggest takeaways and highlights from Flourish and Thrive Live. And over the coming weeks, I'm going to highlight some of these strategies and things that we're talking about a little bit more in depth. I know I started a couple weeks ago with our digital marketing momentum series. If you haven't listened to that yet, go back and start with episode 111. This is going to really open your eyes to some of the things that you might be missing when it comes to digital marketing. Make sure that you download our momentum marketing scorecard because it will change your life like it did a lot of the other designers. When I originally made this, I thought it was going to take about 15 minutes to do, but it takes about 30 to fill it out. So make sure that you chunk out a little slice of time because there's a lot involved in a successful e-commerce and digital marketing strategy. And there's a lot involved from taking the trickles of traffic that you're getting on your site and turning those into sales. So I want to make sure that you're thinking about the whole picture and that you're not just putting up a website and throwing your arms up in the air and wondering why people aren't actually buying from you. There is strategy involved. So let's move on. All right. All right. So anyway, I didn't really finish. We decided to sort of take a step back from the mastermind, and we're releasing it. Yeah, we're transitioning, not a step back. I'm saying that the wrong way, right? We're transitioning because the mastermind probably will come back someday in some way, shape, or form. We're just not exactly sure how it's going to be because I'm really focused on digital marketing strategy. So we really wanted to launch something because we've been hearing, I'm using the word launch, but that's really
introduce
something new. Thank you.
Look.
Thank you. I don't always have the right words. Something that you guys have been asking for, which is really about one-on-one coaching in the digital marketing space. And even though I'm obsessed with it, and even though I'm obsessed with e-commerce and getting sales online, I don't know everything. I know it works for me, and I know it works for some of the designers in our community, but I don't know everything. And I don't claim to be an expert in everything. I'm really good at high-level strategy. That's what makes me a visionary. But I'm not an in the weeds person. So, when we were figuring out, here's a good example. When we were figuring out how to use messenger bots to message people on Facebook for Flourish and Thrive Academy and to deliver content and materials directly on Facebook, I'm the one who said, look, we got to use these messenger bots and here's the high level of what we want to do. But I'm not the one who went in and said, okay, step A is this, step B is this, because I'm not really good at that. And I know that. And that's part of me stepping into the role of being a visionary of my companies, which actually kind of segues us into some of the big takeaways. So I think we're just going to call this takeaway number 1 is really that in order to build and grow a successful company, you need to know if you are a visionary or an integrator. Most of you are probably visionaries. Some of you might be integrators, but understanding how to kind of tap into that inner visionary part of you and unleash it will help you be 30 times more creative in your business and also help you fill in the gaps of the things that you're not good at. Because at the end of the day, what we want to be focused on are the things that we're best at. And a lot of us spend our days every single day doing things that we're not really good at. Would you agree, Robin?
Yeah, sometimes that minutia that just takes up space, or we're trying. What I love too is when I see people trying so hard to figure something out when they could hire somebody to help them. And not only will it be more cost effective, but it'll be more time effective.
And so one of the stories that I shared was the story of like hiring my first consultant. His name was Phil. And one of the things, my business was spiraling down like a fast sinking ship. Let's just put it that way. It was not a pretty picture. And Phil pulled me aside into his office in one Penn Station, and he would sit me there and I'd be in tears. And he's like, well, what is it that you love, Tracy? Obviously this business is not working. You have to decide to either fight for the business or move on. And I said, I love designing. I love working with clients. I love sales. I love being in front of people and, expressing my ideas. And he's like, and what are you doing? I said, I'm managing people all day. I'm doing things that I'm not good at. I'm focused on the things that I feel like I have to do to keep this ship from sinking instead of the things that I really love to do to help drive that ship forward. So that was like my first foray into understanding what it really meant to be a visionary. And then I read the book Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. And that just changed my life. And I only read that last year, by the way. So I highly recommend it, that if you are highly creative like I am and you have a lot of ideas, that you read that book, because it's going to offer you a lot of clarity. And what I'd like to just kind of add as like in summation is that when you're able to fill in your gaps with either team members or just like even in the very beginning, identifying that you have gaps, because I think that's the most important step, and identifying that you're not good at everything in your business and understanding that you're not good, but that doesn't mean like just throwing in the towel because you're not good at it. It's finding solutions on how to fill those gaps when you're bootstrapping your business and trying to grow it on a budget. And as you start to grow, which positions are the first positions that you need to fill in your weakest gaps. So that was really fun. Unleash your inner visionary and do the things that you are best at. So you can focus on the things that you're best at most of the time. That is the first takeaway. And that was my first keynote. So that was really, really fun. Yeah. Anything else about that, Robin?
No, I think that is, I think we nailed that. I think we talked about that.
So we spent the first day of the event really with our masterminds, and we did a whole day of super shares and hot seats, which was really amazing.
Good.
And I know we can't talk about the details of what happened in that room because it's the cone of silence. We don't talk about things that people share in that room because it's very vulnerable. But what was your favorite part about that? Because this ties into our second takeaway.
My favorite part was that everyone really opened up to one another. And
it's very different than when you're just like talking through a computer. Wouldn't you say?
Different. And it was a very safe space. So not only did people open up, but they also heard. There was a lot of really great suggestions and feedback for specific challenges the masterminds had been having. And everyone just took it all in a really positive light. And I would say the biggest word out of that day was connection and community.
Definitely. Connection and community, because these masterminds have been working together
since really December.
Yeah. And the bond that was created just by getting them in that room together is totally insane. And to me, so inspiring because like it makes everything that we're doing here like really worth it. And then it's just amplified when you get them in the room with more people and all these designers together, which is what sort of brings us to the next takeaway, which is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel and make things so hard on yourself all the time. And what I think we forget is that we all have gaps and we have blind spots and we can't see them all. But when someone else can come in and share with you what you might be missing, then so much starts to open up and you can see a lot more clearly. And so I think the next step of that is that you can learn a lot about how to grow your jewelry business from your peers, which I think is pretty
amazing.
Insane.
It's amazing.
And so as part of the event, we had a bunch of super shares, and I'm going to just like kind of walk you through the basics of this because I might bring some of these designers on to talk about their experience down the road. But first, we have a designer in our community named Kristen Baird-Rabin who won the Halstead grant this year, which is pretty insane. She won a $7,500 grant. She was a runner-up last year, and she got some feedback from Halstead about how she needed to up-level her business. And she got some feedback from us about how she needed to up-level her branding and her website to really bring it into alignment with what she stands for as a brand. And the girl, man, she brought it. She took action and brought it. So there was a lot of things that she did to like really overhaul her brand. But we gave her like a little bit of feedback on her website. She hired a company called Hey Carson. We're not affiliates of Hey Carson, but I want to bring this up because it's pretty amazing about what you can do with a very small budget to make massive changes on your website design and copy. She took her website theme, which is built on Shopify, and she had like sort of like in what I would call like sort of a dated style theme. It was fine, but like the way it was designed just looked like, I don't know.
It didn't represent really what she was about and her overall aesthetic, and
it's busy and cluttered, and
it wasn't really doing her work justice.
Yeah. So she worked with this company and took the feedback. She broke everything down in a spreadsheet and got 14 little projects done a month that transformed her website so it looked like an entirely brand new,
looks amazing
website. And I say this because, you know, our focus for the last couple of weeks has been really on digital marketing strategy, because she didn't hire an expensive designer. She didn't really even take a ton of new pictures. She used a lot of the stuff that she already had. She just made it better and took little baby steps to get to that next step. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel in order to make a lot of progress and make change that is going to actually convert better. One of the reasons that she won the Halstead grant was because her branding and her website presence and all that stuff was like completely up-leveled to match what her jewelry is all about. The next super sharer that I want to bring up is Jennifer Serrallo of Blooming Lotus Jewelry. She talked a lot about her influencer strategy and how she's bringing in an extra like multiple thousands of dollars a month from connecting with one influencer in particularly, and how she learned lessons from her past strategies with influencers and how that ended up actually being a big mistake for her business and a lesson that she actually learned. And so what I really loved about this super share, and we'll talk a little bit more about it probably on another episode, was that she's learning from her business mistakes to make improvements to move forward in business and to use that improvement to build momentum, to increase her sales, and to leverage what's already working really well for her brand.
And I think it was a really great example of, sometimes we make mistakes, but it doesn't mean you can't go back and fix that mistake or take that mistake and make it another opportunity for yourself. So you don't have to throw in the towel.
Exactly. And Erin Pelicano Cobble of Erin Pelicano Jewelry, she was actually featured quite a few of our exhibitors, unbeknownst to all of us. But she was someone who was like willing to get feedback. And, I said exhibitors, but I meant our speakers, asked for people who wanted to volunteer and be part of it. And she raised her hand for everything. So she got picked for everything, which is great. But what I want to remind you is that if you don't have a strong Pinterest strategy, for most of you, you're having a huge missed opportunity. Erin gets 50% of her website traffic from Pinterest alone, which is crazy.
Unbelievable.
Totally crazy.
So cool.
We had another designer on doing a super share, and she talked a lot in depth about how she, Lisa Lehman, her name is changing for her brand. It's currently Studio Jewels. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we talked a lot about this. And now she's going to be changing her name to either a branded name like Studio by Lisa Lehman or something else. But you can check out Studio Jewels. She's like a total kick-ass rock star. Amazing. But she shared a strategy of how she made $7,000 from a Facebook Live sale. So if you aren't thinking outside the box of how you can leverage tools that you're already using, like Facebook and Instagram, to grow your business and grow sales online, then think again, because this is a great opportunity for you to grow your e-commerce. And also you could use it for your wholesale business, I suppose, but primarily your e-commerce and direct-to-consumer business. Then we have Jocelyn Crane. We learned so much from her about video, right?
So good. And hey, y'all, if you're not doing video, talk about a missed opportunity. You need to be doing video on somewhere, right?
Definitely. I'm going to have Jocelyn most likely on the show, but Jocelyn has an interesting story. She got into CAD because of a genetic disorder that she has. She has one of her arms is shorter than the other. So it's like hard for her to make models on her computer. And she really stepped up. We worked for a long time over the past 6 months on her video strategy. And she created the most amazing video that had everyone in tears about her why and why she's doing CAD jewelry. Because she personally, she's always like afraid to sort of share the story. This was transformative. And I know that when she gets this live on her site, it's going to be one of the things that helps her connect with customers in the most insane way.
And she's an incredible designer.
She is. She has like really,
Unbelievable.
like untapped talent.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And then we learned from Christina Kolborkowski that she's been in business for 10 years, and it was her birthday, actually, at our mastermind event.
She spent her birthday with us. That's so
She must like us a little bit.
She likes her business a lot.
Yeah.
Because that shows dedication. It
Yeah.
is a commitment to come and spend your birthday with your mastermind group and the live event. But it proves, I mean, she's getting so much from it. It was a birthday present to herself.
So one of the things that I want to mention about Christina is that she's been in business for a long time. She's a really great business. She was banking on some business that was coming in to move into a new studio to grow her business. And then some of the business went away. The big lesson that we learned from her, and that we can all remember and learn from our peers, is that it's important to learn how to adapt and be able to pivot when things happen in business, because they're always going to happen. And you're always going to be faced with a new struggle around the corner, or a financial commitment that you made that maybe you're struggling to invest in. So it's really important to pivot and to be able to think outside of the box of how to generate cash and revenue and cash flow when you get sideswiped by something that is totally unacceptable. I think I was trying to say unexpected. I just made up a new word. That you get sideswiped by something that you're not seeing, and without being able to like pivot quickly and react and come up with a plan B, because we're going to have to continue doing that over and
all
over
the time
in business.
And I just want to point out, Christina, when this situation happened, she reached out to her mastermind coaches. She reached out to her mastermind community and said, oh my gosh, this is what's going on. And we were able to help her. And I think that's the beauty of being in a community too, to like, sometimes when you're in it, it's really hard to see what a plausible solution would be, or another opportunity.
Exactly. So takeaway number 1 is to make sure that you unleash your inner visionary. Takeaway number 2 is to make sure that you stop reinventing the wheel and learn from your peers and from us, of course. And takeaway number 3 is all about sales momentum and the power of sales momentum to make sure that you leverage it so you can continue moving forward. Robin, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I think it's, we talk a lot about at Flourish and Thrive about celebration and the importance of it, and that no sale is too small to celebrate. You got to celebrate it all, and you get an opportunity to actually leverage it and move forward. When you have a sale with somebody, that you get to follow up with them, you get to nurture that it is so much easier. You've heard us talk about it time and time again, that when you have a sale, the opportunity to sell to that person for another time again is really probable. So it's about nurturing that account, and it's so much easier to nurture an account than try to get a new one. You should always be getting new ones, but the nurturing is key, and you're going to grow that business. So really keeping that momentum going, being really persistent and really consistent with that.
Awesome. So what do you think about this, Robin? We try to keep these podcast episodes to about 30 minutes, and we're like already over the 30-minute marker, because we want to be able you to digest it. We don't want your eyeballs to glaze over and cross. So I think we're going to do a 2-part series of our takeaways and highlights from our live event. So check out next week, episode number 118, because we're going to walk you through. We only got through 3 today, but we're going to walk you through the rest of the 9 from 4 to 9, and some of the highlights of the things that we really enjoyed about the event. If you haven't checked it out yet, though, I'd really love to share our Momentum Marketing Scorecard with you. You can download it in the show notes. I mentioned earlier that you can also download it straight from this URL over at flourishthriveacademy.com/marketing scorecard. I also wanted to invite you to a very special program that we are releasing over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. I am the ringleader of the program. It's called the SOS Accelerator, the Strategic Online Success Accelerator. It's specifically designed for jewelry designers who are ambitious and really want to move forward with their digital marketing strategy, who want to commit to working with us over at Flourish and Thrive for a year, and who are primarily focused, or at least have a big interest in focusing large part of their business on growing their online sales and getting more exposure online. So if you're interested in this program, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what it's all about. As I mentioned, it's a 1-year commitment. Every month, you're going to get a group coaching call with me, Tracy, and I'll be walking you through some of the latest and greatest on digital marketing strategy. We're going to be holding each other accountable. We're going to be doing planning meetings. We're going to be sharing success stories of things that, so that you can track your progress and sort of see your results and how you're growing, because that's really what we want to create here, is something that you're going to see is, you're going to see growth every month over and over and over again. So that's really our desire. So monthly group coaching calls with me. But here's my favorite part about it. I've curated a team of coaches. I'm not going to list through all of them, but they're coaches from everything from the basics to branding, to website design, to graphic design, to SEO, content creation. What else? Copywriting. There's so many different things we're covering. We're basically running the gamut. Digital marketing strategy, social media strategy, basically anything that you can think of. We have a Pinterest expert coming in, and all these coaches are going to be on hand for you to do one coaching session a month with one coach. So you get to pick one coach a month, and it will be based on whatever it is that you need help with. So if you need help writing your product descriptions or getting a product description review, you can book one of our copy coaches. Or if you need help with social media strategy, you can book one of our social media strategy coaches. If you need help with some digital marketing hacks, you can book calls with our digital marketing experts. If you want to get an SEO checkup on your site, you can book a call with one of our SEO experts. So it's really designed based on where you are, because everyone's sort of at a different business, and we're going to help guide you and show you where to start. Then we'll be doing quarterly implementation retreats that are all focused on the latest and greatest digital marketing strategies to help you plan your year out properly, to help you get your automation systems in check, to help you understand what and when you should start outsourcing things for digital marketing, and so much more. It runs the gamut. We have a lot in store for you. We're really excited. And just keep in mind that the investment for one of these workshops, we typically charge about $2,500 for a workshop like this. So it's really, really an insane value because it's rolled into this coaching program just for being a member. And then finally, you will get complimentary access into our Diamond Insiders membership community, which is, as for those of you who are already members, it's pretty awesome. So we love it. We're excited about it. So if you're interested in checking out more for the program, it is an application process. We aren't going to be accepting everyone, but we would love to consider you. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/SOS. We have an extremely limited number of slots available, but if you're someone who really wants to get one-on-one coaching by the best in the digital marketing space, specifically for product-based and jewelry businesses, I'd highly recommend that you check it out. All right, Robin, should we wrap up this episode and come back next time?
Yeah, we've got so much more to share with you, so let's wrap it up.
Thanks for listening, guys. Take care till next time.
Bye, everyone.